Good morning. Welcome to Dynamic Leadership. And today I'm using an illustration with Jim Collins' books, Good to Great and Great by Choice, because it ties right in. For small businesses who want to scale, and if you think about growing and scaling, which I'll get into, it's a complex set of challenges because it costs money to grow and it costs money to scale, and you're constantly balancing those. And a few weeks ago, I did a hot take and said dynamic leadership is the best leadership approach for small businesses seeking to grow and scale. And when I'm talking about growing and scaling, I'm talking about 10x. Several things happen when you go after a 10x goal. I'm talking about all the intrinsic rewards that go with it are suddenly big enough to make you want to do the hard work that's necessary. The little goals don't always have that. The second thing that happens with 10x is that it forces you to focus on what's really important, and you let go of a lot of other things. It seems like it takes somebody losing everything before they could finally step into their purpose. But I would argue it's not necessary to lose everything. I think the process of losing everything allows you to get rid of the baggage that you're dragging along from first base trying to get to second base. Now, whether you let go of that baggage because you're forced to because you lose everything, or you let go of that baggage by choice, which is what I prefer and what I talk about with agency and personal leadership. The other thing is with small businesses, they have no time to, especially when you're growing and scaling, to concern themselves with a leadership process. They start hiring leaders with the right board in place and the right mentors in place. They'll have you hiring these people before they're needed, and they'll have you hiring the right people, getting the right people on the bus. There's the idea of draining the swamp or fighting alligators, right? And that's why I'm saying dynamic leadership is what you want to have if you're a company that's interested in growing and scaling. All right, so dynamic leadership, I already talked a little bit about the metaphor. So team metaphor for growth and profit organization is the only one I would use. Now you can argue that, but if you've ever worked in an environment with a family metaphor, there's problems. One, how do you deal with discipline issues with a family? How do you deal with disparity in pay when you want to pay for performance with the family? How do you combat the matriarchal thing that happens with a family? When you go with a team, everybody has a common goal. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. What's nice about the team metaphor, and this gets back to the 10x, when you're using a team metaphor and you're embodying the principles I'll be talking about with dynamic leadership, flexibility, adaptability, etc., consistency, discipline, commitment, the difference between your business with a team metaphor and a sports team with the team metaphor is that the sports team has an opponent that's trying to stop every play. This is why they have practice during the week. This is why they get together. This is why they have simple plays that everybody knows, and they have audibles, and because they want to be able to adapt and adjust. In business, because there's no opponent, it can become boring, right? In the bureaucratic environment, we create our own opponents inside. Same with the political environment. We create our own opponents. We don't do it intentionally. It just happens. And this is why it's so important to know who you're hiring as a leader, because as you hire these people in, if they're coming from an environment that was political, they're going to bring that political backdrop into your organization.